Hey, my name's Ryan and I'm going to keep adding 5 pounds to this exercise until I can. Here we go. Well, that is when I get to 225, because this is...
Yeah, buddy! Wait! Yeah!
Let's be aggressive in our warm-up sets here and move the weight fast and build some confidence. Yes, yes, it comes. Something I like to do from time to time when I'm warming up, especially in like power snatches and power cleans where I'm trying to catch, you know, above parallel or at parallel, is to warm up those deeper positions that I'll generally find once I get a little bit heavier. So I caught that last one really, really high. So this next one, I'll do 205 and I'll purposefully catch it a little bit lower just to kind of familiarize myself with that deeper position. So that way the first time I do it, it isn't, you know, when I'm trying to go the heaviest for the day. Still caught that one pretty high. I don't know, I'm just feeling dangerous today. I can feel it coming. All right, I need to stop. I'm in a public gym. Let's go to 225. And literally, like I said in the beginning, I'm just gonna add 5 pounds to each set until I can't. Not necessarily wanting to like max out. By I can't mean like reaching a good technical, reaching a point where my technique is confronted with my ability to handle that weight. I don't think I'll PR today. I mean, PR power snatch is 305. And I was like miraculously peaked when I did that. And so I'm not quite there right now, but let's give this a shot and have some fun with it. First set, let's just absolutely obliterate this. Alright, I'm gonna bring you kind of close to hopefully get as much of that music out of the background as possible. But there's 2 reasons why I'm doing this snatch session in this particular way. The first is it feels like a good way to just accumulate a lot of good volume, particularly at some lower intensities, weights that I would generally just skip to get to my next set, right? And when getting in snatching form, I just find that practice makes perfect. The more reps that you can accumulate, the better the lift is going to feel in general. And then secondarily, just building off of that, the Olympic lifts, particularly the snatch, and even more particularly if you're relatively inexperienced, the magnitude in weight, and I've said this before, when you're changing sets, right, like it feels, you can notice that weight more, right? So if you're like doing a squat, if you go from say 405 to 455 and you're a relatively strong squatter, you might not notice that 50 pounds as much. Whereas if you go from like 225 to 245 in a power snatch or a snatch, even if you're a stronger snatcher, that magnitude still feels pretty heavy, even though it was only like what, 20 pounds? What was the example I gave? I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. And so I say all that to say, it's probably more of like a meditative kind of session where you're really just like honing in on the way the weight feels with each change, as opposed to trying to reach a certain amount of weight quickly. And so it might force you to slow down a little bit and just pay attention a little bit more. And I just realized I'm looking at the actual video part of my camera and not the lens. So if it looks like I'm cross-eyed, that's on me, my bad, big dog. put some mustard on this one, shall we? And then the second reason why I enjoy doing a session like this is it just feels like I'm gamifying my training a little bit more. There's the thumbnail, or the title of the video. In that, and I invite you to disagree with me on this, and I totally can see where you're coming from if you do. I don't think our bodies recognize the specific prescriptions that we give, like to the most nuanced and detailed degree. You know, like, for instance, say I was doing doubles at a meticulous percentage, and I chose that percentage for whatever justification because it optimizes power, so on and so forth, whatever. Versus something like this, as long as the sessions are somewhat equal in volume and intensity, I really doubt that our bodies are going to recognize a significant discrepancy between the two in the way that they choose to adapt to those sessions. Especially when you accumulate a bunch of sessions over time, I feel like that just kind of muddies the specific stimulus that you're chasing in terms of like the prescription, and really your body's just recognizing that you're snatching hard or you're squatting hard or whatever, and if you're doing that, you're gonna adapt, right? And I don't mean this like in a carefree sort of way. I don't mean that you can kind of just do whatever you want and adapt. Like, the general category of snatching hard still needs to remain the same, right? So like, this is a hard session, or if I chose to do that session that I just described, a bunch of doubles at a specific percentage, like, those are still both hard sessions, right? And I'm still snatching to an intense degree in both sessions, so, you know, there's that caveat. But what we do recognize is the psychological way that we respond to a training session. I would much rather gamify a session and have fun with it and do something nuanced and novel, because I'm going to be that much more engaged with the session. And if I am psychologically engaged with the session, I'm probably going to put forth a little bit more effort, have a little bit more gusto, a little bit more pep on my step, and I don't know, I'd rather do a session like that than one where I'm somewhat bored or, you know, lacking engagement. And, you know, if you can find you don't have to do it every session, especially if you like an old school way of programming where, you know, you're doing your sets of 3 or 5 or whatever, you know, that's totally fine as well. I'm just trying to think of ways that I can increase engagement, get after it, have some fun, and still train hard. I'll probably slow this down, that previous rep on camera, so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about, but I allowed that bar to get back on me a little bit, had to kind of push it forward at the end. And if you want to absolutely nail a snatch, you got to just catch it at the top, right, and try to be as balanced as possible. So whenever that happens, I think about just punching hard up at the ceiling and not allowing my arms to move, and generally that helps.
Like a glove!
What's up, bro? When you get the bar to your hips in a power snatch and you just absolutely send it, I would liken that to what it feels like to enter the multiverse, you know what I'm saying? Where you just kind of like evaporate. But also at the same time, every fiber of your being is just being stimulated by electricity. I don't know, it's hard to describe. Starting to feel slightly tired. I think I got 2 or 3 left. Stay locked in. Come on. Timing felt a little bit off. It felt like my feet were planted and the bar was still turning over, like very minuscule. But I feel like I'm reaching that point of fatigue and just like readiness for the day, where the next one or the one after that is where I'm gonna call it from the standards I set forth at the beginning of the session. So, what's that, 275, 280? Let's do 275, see how it feels. If I absolutely nail that, I'll go 280. All right, let's get a call to action here.
At my signal, unleash hell.
Let's try it again. Just gotta put some more mustard on this rep, that's all it is. What a sissy. So I know I said that I would go until I couldn't, and technically I didn't follow my own guidelines because I failed twice and then got 275 on the third time, but I had to be a little stubborn there. 275 on a power snatch just seems like a weight that kind of has to be a threshold for me. Like, I don't want to let myself get below that for quite some time, until my age really creeps up to me to the point where I can't maintain that anymore. So with that being said, still, all in all, was a great session. Find a way to gamify your training. Again, it doesn't have to be every single session that you do some sort of weird prescription, but if you mix it in every now and then just to keep things relatively fresh, then, I don't know, maybe you'll spur progress a little bit more than you otherwise would. Training is fun. You!